Welcome to Bobby Does Recaps. This is Your Friends and Neighbors Season 1. We dive right in with Andrew Cooper, Coop for short, this slick but secretly crumbling financier who's just been axed from his powerhouse gig at Bailey Investments after a steamy one-night fling with coworker Liv Cross backfires spectacularly. His sleazy boss, Jack Bailey, fabricated a harassment claim to shove him out the door. Still reeling from his divorce from Mel, his tenacious therapist ex-wife, who's now cozied up with Coop's ex-bestie, Nick Braids. This larger-than-life former NBA star with a flair for the dramatic and a wandering eye. Coop's hell-bent on keeping his family's lavish lifestyle afloat in the swanky enclave of Westmont Village. He's juggling two teenagers, Tori, his driven 17-year-old daughter laser-focused on snagging a Princeton spot through her killer tennis skills, and Hunter, the brooding son, dipping his toes into classic teen rebellion like secret parties and risky experimentation. Adding to the chaos is Coop's unpredictable younger sister, Allie Cooper, who's grappling with bipolar disorder and has crash-landed at his house after her latest emotional nosedive, bringing her wild energy and impulsive vibes into the mix. The spark ignites when Coop, flat broke and desperate, crashes a neighbor's swanky party and pockets a fat stack of cash from a drawer. Boom! The rush hooks him like a drug, and he's off to the races. He's also knee-deep in a forbidden, fiery affair with Sam Levitt, Mel's close friend and long-suffering wife of serial cheater Paul Levitt, this arrogant country club kingpin who's flaunting his barely legal girlfriend everywhere, leaving Sam humiliated and vengeful. Sam's world is a whirlwind of bitter custody fights with Paul and raw emotional scars. But her chemistry with Coop is electric, pulling them into risky hookups that threaten to unravel everything. Cut to Coop offloading his first major haul, a flashy Patek Philippe watch snatched from another neighbor, to Lou Varga, this gritty pawn shop boss in the Bronx with a no BS attitude who haggles him down while sizing him up to ensure the watch isn't too hot. Back in the village's manicured bubble, Mel's tight-knit friend group, including the ever-nosy Maggie Haber, who's always got the tea and loves to spill it, along with her level-headed wife, Suzanne, are rallying around Sam, offering shoulders to cry on amid Paul's blatant betrayals. Coop tries to play the doting dad, splurging on a drum set for Hunter to fuel his rock star dreams, hyping up Tori for her high-stakes tennis tournament, and even stepping up as a makeshift comforter for Sam's kid during a late-night sleepover. But he's multitasking like a madman, skipping Tori's tourney to burglar the Sperglings mansion, Brad and Julie, these cutthroat parents scheming to cheat their daughter's SAT scores sky high. He swipes an ultra-rare Richard Mille watch, plus some incriminating photos of their fraud that could come in handy later. Afterwards, he does make it to see the end of Tori's tournament. Over in Family Drama Zone, Hunter experiments with mushrooms at a wild teen bash and ends up freaking out, but Allie swoops in with her quirky auntie wisdom to talk him down, strengthening their bond amid the chaos. Coop leans on his steadfast buddy, Barney Cho, a sharp business manager hitched to Harris Grace Choi and living that ultra-wealthy life, who hooks him up with a lawyer to sue the firm for wrongful termination. But the stakes spike when Coop targets Dom and Kat Resnick's home. Dom's a button-up type, but Kat's secretly entangled in a steamy affair with her own daughter's boyfriend, which Coop stumbles upon mid-heist. He bolts, grabbing some expensive vintage wine on the way out. Things boil over at Guy's Night Barbecue thrown by Nick, where Coop and Paul clash in a heated push fight, shattering that pricey wine. This leads to a basketball challenge distraction that accidentally injures a guest, turning the party into a total disaster zone. Brad files a police report on his missing watch, but Detective Lynn, this keen investigator with a nose for BS, initially dismisses it as a minor theft in a rich folks' playground. Oh, and now the game changer. Elena, Nick's no-nonsense housekeeper with a street-smart edge and connections everywhere, catches Coop red-handed during a break-in and instead of ratting him out, proposes a partnership. She'll drive the getaway car, snag alarm codes from her buddy Hector, the security guy, and Lou will handle the fencing for a cut. They pull off their first 4 jobs without a hitch, until, while trying to snag a Hermes Birkin bag, Coop runs into a second alarm in the closet. He gets chased off by a ferocious dog and nearly gets busted by patrolling cops. But the thrill just amps up Coop's addiction. Adding to the mess, Liv drops a bombshell on Coop that the lawyer Barney recommended is actually in Jack's pocket, sabotaging the case from the inside. Sam spots Liv planting a kiss on Coop and flips into jealousy mode. At Mel's big birthday blowout, hosted by Nick in their sprawling home, Mel hits a midlife crisis wall, sharing a vulnerable heart-to-heart with Coop that stirs up old feelings. But he leaves the party and ends up hooking up with Sam, who's waiting in the car. What a mess. Hunter lands in hot water when school officials bust him for peddling Adderall to classmates. Mel smooths it over with a whopping $240,000 donation to the academy, keeping him enrolled but straining family ties. Barney's own life unravels a bit when he drunkenly sets his home renovation ablaze, nearly losing everything in the flames. Meanwhile, Coop and Elena level up their crimes, masterminding a switcheroo on a valuable Liechtenstein painting with a convincing fake, then fencing it to shady art dealer Christian at a cocaine-fueled underground party. Things turn ugly when Christian gets handsy with Elena, pulling a knife and forcing them to fight their way out in a heart-pounding escape. But the real gut punch lands when Coop breaks into Sam's house, slips in a massive pool of blood, and discovers Paul's lifeless body on the floor. Total pandemonium as Coop frantically wipes down the scene to erase his presence without alerting authorities. Detective Lynn deems it a homicide, notices the sloppy cleanup, and starts grilling suspects like Coop and Sam, who both deny their affair. Allie lands a gig at a local club, killing it on stage until she bumps into her toxic ex-fiancé, Bruce Emerson, this manipulative charmer who sucks her back into his orbit with false promises. The family escapes to Princeton for Tori's campus tour. Coop and Mel get nostalgic over drinks, rekindle their spark in a hotel hookup, and Coops decide that he will get his family back. The trip went well and everyone's in a good mood. They celebrate with a fancy dinner alongside the Chos, and for a fleeting moment, it feels like paradise. But reality crashes in when Christian's goons ambush Coop for revenge. Barney heroically jumps in to help, only to get struck by a speeding car in the chaos, leaving him hospitalized and Coop racked with guilt. Coop stirs in the hospital, stonewalling Lynn's probing questions about the attack. Elena uses her share of the loot to pay off her brother's looming debt to a loan shark named Chivo. And to make things worse, loses Hector's security insider access as well. Barney, fed up, demands Coop leave him alone while Allie, ignoring red flags everywhere, spirals into a reckless affair with still married Bruce. Lynn uncovers damaging evidence, Coop's image on Sam's nanny cam and bloody rags in the trash. While Coop's at Paul's somber funeral, cops swarm his house just as Allie and Bruce are mid-hookup. She calls to warn him, but they find Paul's gun in the trunk. Someone is trying to frame him. Side note, his trunk has been broken and randomly popping open throughout the entire season. Coop's able to blackmail Kat into being his lawyer right before the cops storm the funeral and arrest him. Coop's bailed out by his estranged dad, Rod, a grizzled type with his own baggage. He then faces rejection from Mel, who forbids him from seeing his kids. Elena raids Cooper's hidden cash stash to cover her brother's debts, leaving him high and dry. He confronts Lou for answers, but she warns him to drop it or face worse. Tensions explode when Mel confronts Sam at a cafe, accusations flying. Sam accuses Coop of murder. Mel confesses her recent night with him. The whole thing erupts into a viral catfight, costing Nick his relationship with Mel and landing her a work suspension. Coop, Barney, and Nick hit the bottle hard in a guy's night of commiseration, where Coop teeters on the edge of confessing his burglary spree, but Barney passes out right before he starts to spill the beans. Coop's lawyer, Kat, urges a plea deal that he stubbornly refuses, clinging to his innocence on the murder charge. In the whirlwind finale, Coop signs over the house deed to Mel. Allie ditches her meds in a manic haze, bombs her singing gig with a rant about Bruce's betrayal, then trashes his garage in a fit of rage. A masterclass in chaos. Mel pushes Coop to battle the charges head on. He pieces together that Sam's missing burner phone holds the key, recruiting Elena for one last heist into Sam's place, where they unearth Paul's hidden suicide note instead. The massive twist drops. Sam orchestrated the whole frame job. Paul killed himself during a call with her. She shot him post-mortem to stage a murder for the insurance payout, then pinned it on Coop with the planted evidence. Cold-blooded and cutthroat. Sam corners him with a gun, but she can't pull the trigger. This leads to her swift arrest. Cleared of all charges, Coop blackmails the Spurglings with those SAT fraud picks to boost Tori's Princeton chances. Gets a smug job offer from Jack, but F that guy. He flips the script by swiping a priceless painting from Jack's mansion, disappearing into the... Oh, crap, hold on. Coop's got to shut his trunk. Disappearing into the night, ditching his toxic past for whatever future wild thrills await. And that's where Your Friends and Neighbors Season 1 comes to an end. If you like this recap, please hit the like button and subscribe for more recaps.